Okay, here we are. Thank you for joining me. And today we'll be doing our interview format. This is a new format and we are currently on quarantine. So that's why we're recording it here. But anyway, you'll see us. So I'll briefly mention why we introduced this format, because we have the website, but now we decided to add this. So those who are getting ready to start the uni life, just to ease their anxiety, to provide advice, to support them by this informational format. We'll be sharing our tips here. We'll be inviting the guest speakers to share their opinion on certain psychological struggles students face, how to face them in a better way, how to improve the situation. Also, this is just a more entertaining format. So you can see us, we can interact with you, you'll get to know our story, we'll find out more about you, so that's amazing as well. And also, this is just for those who want to expand their knowledge, maybe even not necessarily students, but their parents. So those who struggle, those who want to know more about the struggles students face, and most importantly, how to solve them. So we'll not just be mentioning the struggles they face, but we'll actually be giving advice on how to improve the student conditions.
Yeah, I
And
would
here I
like to
have,
add,
yeah, I have
yeah, I would
you
like to add
here.
that it's an amazing opportunity to verbalize what our project is doing and why it is unique for and in what direction we are planning to move and in order to achieve our goals, basically. So that's what we want to communicate with our central audience, users, and people who are related to student struggles, basically.
Yeah, and just to introduce ourselves, so I'm Alice, I'm one of the co-founders, and here Dmitry is with me, another co-founder. So maybe you can tell us your story, who you are, what's your role in the project.
Well, initially, the idea came to me during the summertime. I was having different discussions with people from different social backgrounds and from different parts of the world. And I came to the conclusion with all of them that to some extent, we all face the same issue during the student life, basically. And personally, I came to the conclusion that this issue is to some extent unseen by other people and organizations. And I was like, okay, let's try to solve this issue by myself, or at least try to create a team that will be able to solve with me this issue and communicate it with the universities and the wider audience, basically. And after that, I started creating a team and sending invitation basically to people. And by doing this, I managed to invite Alice, and I managed to invite other two people who are co-founders of the project as well. So, well, yeah, that's it basically.
Yeah, so I think that's amazing to know how it all started. I think the listeners will actually like it as well. So yeah, as Dmitry said, I joined the project later on, and we have a wonderful team. We're very friendly, all of us. We help each other. We have a divide between our responsibilities. We'll be also mentioning our responsibilities on Instagram. Probably we'll add a link somewhere here so you can join our Instagram. And now I think I'll tell my story and how I see it and what my role is. As Dmitry said, he basically introduced the idea. It was his initial idea. I later on joined and I brought my perspective on it from a more psychological perspective and background, because I come from the psychological background. Um, so my initial goal and motivation was to help students improve their conditions. I'm very passionate about this goal because I've had lots of experience in working with students during my bachelor degree, which I've finished now. Congratulations to me. I've completed more than 200 hours of working on the crisis support phone hotline, and I know personally how hard it is for students to adapt to the university life. Loneliness, lack of friends, inability to find new friends, inability to fit in. Those are the top themes for all the calls I've had, and I've had many of them. I've been one of the people who have had many calls from students on the edge of actually committing a suicide because they were lonely, because they had no one to share their pain with, to share themselves with, their thoughts, worldview. And I want to tell you that it's so hard to have a student on the phone wanting to commit a suicide because they don't have anyone. They're completely alone. Not necessarily international students who come from all over the world and they are physically alone, but maybe even students from the same place, but they still can feel alone. And it was so hard for me every single time because, yeah, I managed to help some of them, but I don't know about other of them. So maybe they have committed suicide and that's horrible. So at that moment, I realized that the conditions should be improved. The universities are not doing enough to improve their conditions because otherwise I wouldn't have had lots of suicidal calls or even just ordinary calls when students share their pain with me. Moreover, when I realized that I had to do more in order to help the student community, I was elected to be a member of the Diversity and Equality Committee, and I was the lead member of it. So together with other team members, I've been closely working with the different groups of people coming from different backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds, social backgrounds, and especially with those groups who face discrimination, inequality. So we had lots of projects aiming to help those groups of people. Some were successful, some were not, because we didn't get enough support from the university, different reasons. But at that moment, I realized that creating a platform which would bring people together, people from different backgrounds, would be amazing. It would help enormously. And unfortunately, when I was studying, when I was a member of the committee, we didn't have this platform. And now we finally created it. So I'm hoping that lots of people will find it useful because I think it's really useful. And I know that it can solve so many problems because I've heard it from those who were calling me on the crisis hotline or those who were those I was targeting when I was a committee member. And after all of my experiences I've briefly mentioned, and yeah, I have a couple more, but they're not that important for a project, I can confidently say and genuinely say that I do have enough experience and knowledge to help, and I want to apply it to the student settings and actually help via the means of the ConnectYou, which Dmitry and I and other team members have created.
Yeah, to add to your words about the universities basically and their works in this direction, as a student who has already done bachelor degree and now I'm going to graduate from master's degree, I can totally relate that what is offered at universities should be improved basically because, for example, when I was a bachelor student, we had a freshers week, right? Like a week with different events, parties, and all of that. That basically all these events are aiming to some extent create a connection between arrivals, new arrivals, basically, and find new friends and all of that. But actually, it's not true because for many people, it was a huge struggle to have some fun with people that they have never known in their life before. And particularly like having, it was a struggle to have fun with them in terms of drinking alcohol, going to nightclubs, I don't know, going somewhere during the night and stuff like that. Because I know personally, I know that for some people, it's not what they expected to see, basically. People were expecting to see events where they can share their stories, knowledge, and skills, where they can find new people, basically, people with same interests and all that. But actually, what the university did is that in one of the days, in 2 days, basically they made a societies fairs and community fairs, basically, where people could join the society or a community or other things, but that's all. It's not even the event that is related to the let's say a fit stage where people can actually try to fit to different societies, to different communities and all of that. So, and because people were feeling lonely at the beginning of the freshest week, by the end they were very pressured by the number of social activities, um, extrovert activities, let's say. So,
Mhm.
and that's why for some people it became an issue, and they closed themselves from the society, basically from people. So they started experiencing different issues related to the depression, loneliness, and having not enough communication with people and all of that. So I suppose, because I have this experience, I suppose that our platform will be able to help people like this, and not only like this, but also people who feel a bit lonely or maybe a bit pressured or maybe something like this. But anyways, it will be able to help as well. So yeah.
Yeah. And just to touch the topic of the societies and why they're actually not enough for students to build friendships. And yeah, not to say that they're amazing. I've been a member of many societies, and also I've been ahead of two societies. But anyway, I observed how students struggle to initially start to talk to others. They are scared of this two moments when you come up to the person and say, hi, what's your name? And what our website, what's ConnectYou is doing, is it provides this bridge between a person and another person. So we are making it easier for them to start the conversation. And the rest depends on them. I'm sure they will be amazing at building friendships. I'm sure they are amazing at building friendships. They are just scared to start. And we are helping them to start communication. And I
Yeah, and
think that's
also
one of the best things ConnectYou is doing.
yeah, and also to add to the advantages of the platform, what we tried to do is that we tried to uh, basically expand the borders of the platform. Basically, we wanted to make it. Well, I also wanted to add to some words about the advantages of the platform. Basically, what we tried to do is that our team tried to make the platform that would be safe, that would be non-judgmental, that would be tolerant, and that would be inclusive for all people that are currently studying at the university. And it was our aim, basically, and that's why we decided, for example, make the optional stages. For example, instead of having a photo of yourself on the platform, you can actually add some picture instead of yourself if you're having some struggles with showing yourself on the online, on the social media, basically. And for example, what we also did is that we are not going to force you to show your sexual orientation or your name.
Gender.
Yeah, exactly. So it depends on you, basically, if you want to provide this information or not. If you are feeling not that confident in sharing this information, so here you are. It's up to you whether to actually post the info about yourself or not. So,
Yeah.
and that's why I suppose it would be beneficial for people, because it's all about having common interests and finding new people at the university and finding friends, basically, rather than just showing off your personality. So yeah.
Yeah, we've made it in order for people to find each other not based on the looks, but based on who they actually are. And I think that's a disadvantage of many university life, because people judge each other by the way they look, by the way their clothes, how expensive their clothes is. But actually, those things are not that important. And this website gives an opportunity to find each other based on how they feel, what they think, what their world looks like, how they are in their worlds, and
Yeah.
who they are in their worlds.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
And just to conclude, maybe we can briefly touch on our future, on how we are planning to develop the project. Obviously, we're not gonna say everything because then it won't be a surprise. But yeah, maybe you can just tell us on how you see the future of our project, in what direction we'll be moving, and what our current plan is.
Well, I just want to say that the what we had at the initial stage, our goal is that we're going to pursue this goal in the future as well, that we want to communicate these issues with people. We want to solve these issues with students as well and with universities, uh, which are one of the key stakeholders in the project, basically. And we want to invite more people to this discussion, let's say, because we want to share our perspective with the world about the issue, and we want to basically demonstrate that actually the society itself should look at the problem and actually not just skip it and try to live it by solving it itself. So yeah, we want the world to hear us basically, and to hear out the students who are experiencing right now problems. So all of these are basically the goals that we are pursuing from the beginning. So we're going to do the same in the future as well.
That's a great answer. Yeah, in future videos and podcasts, because you can share the format you like. You can either look at us on YouTube, or you can listen to us on the podcasts we'll be uploading to our website. But in future videos and podcasts, we'll be talking about such issues as, in general, what struggles students face, or how to adapt to uni life, how not to lose yourself, how to find a year abroad, how to find placements, which are the working year of your program, how not to be scared to change your career path, and many, many more. So just stay connected.
Yeah, stay connected, exactly. So thank you for listening to us, and thank you for the time you spent with us during this podcast, and hopefully we will be able to hear from you in the near future as well.